It was May 25th at 6 a.m. I woke up, so it was already a bad day because I woke up super early. I didn't even need to. I started school at 8, and it wasn't this school, it was a specific school, it was EMT school, so Emergency Medical Technician School. So this program is 5 weeks long, Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So you literally have no life, take my word for it. You have no life for 5 weeks. So since I woke up so early, I tried to do that like cramming study where you like open the book, you're like, okay, I'm gonna remember everything, when you really only remember like 20% of it, maybe. So then I get ready, and the school is like 15, 20 minutes away. So then I leave, I get there around like 7, so I still have an hour before I have to take my final. And that's the reason I woke up so early. You know when your brain like wakes you up like, oh, you have something really important the next day? That's what it was. I had a final for this class. So I saw some people getting there early as well, so we all went into the classroom. My teacher didn't mind getting there early to study, so there was about an hour left. So all of us were in there early, and anybody who had any questions, they were like, okay, I didn't get this answer, could you help me out with this? So we were all just kind of staying together. That hour went by really fast. Next thing I know, like my teacher comes out and he says, like all teachers says, no offense, Mr. Taylor, everyone put away your books, get out your Scantron with your number 2 pencil. So everyone was doing that. And then he passed out the exam, and nobody could start until everybody got the exam. So then before we started, he like all saw our faces, and everyone was just like pale in the face. So he's like, okay, everybody just take a second, just take a deep breath, like take a drink of water before you start, and then he's like, you guys can begin. So this exam was a pass-fail, and it was 200 questions, and you have 2 hours to complete it. So he said, begin, we all start, and like I start taking, and then I start like doing like what everybody does during tests. They kind of like look around like to see like who's done, and like you never want to be last for a test. So I'm going, like people start trickling out, so I start like getting more nervous, and so I finally finished the ones that I knew the answers to, and then I go back to the ones that like I checkmarked, like, oh, I'm gonna go back to them, and it ended up being like 50% of the test, so I was like, oh shit. So I eventually finished all those. I turned in the test, and you have an hour-long lunch after you take the test. Nobody can eat because you're so nervous. You're like, it's a pass-fail. Like, you spent all this money and time doing this. Like, if you fail, you literally grab your backpack then when he tells you, and you, like, do the walk of shame outside the freaking door. So we're outside, everybody's talking. We're like, okay, how do you think you did? We're like, well, we can't change it now. But we keep asking, and then eventually he said that you could come in early to see if you passed or failed, so you didn't have to, like, do that in front of everybody in case you actually failed or you have to leave. So there was about 5 of us in the classroom. My teacher wasn't there. He went to go get the Scantrons to make sure that they were done. So he came back in, and like the 5 of us are here, and my teacher was about to come in the door. So we all saw him, like immediately once he came in the door, we're like, do we pass? So he walks in, I'm him, he like walks in and like looks at us. We're all standing here. He like looks at us like silently, just like looking around. And he's like, yeah, you guys are good, you all passed. I literally fell to my knees. I was like, oh shit, finally. And like it was like a weight had just been lifted off my shoulders. I was like, oh, this is fantastic. So after that, everybody eventually like trickled in and found out if they passed or failed. Unfortunately, some people did fail, so they had to like do the walk of shame outside the door. And then like the rest of us that passed, we all came in the classroom, and then my teacher had like a final like end of the class presentation, which was mainly like just how to get like your licenses and certificate, and just like any questions that we may have. Like he was like, yeah, okay, congratulations guys, you all made it. Like I know it was a long struggle, but congratulations. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm here for you guys. And so after the presentation, we all just kind of hung around and talked, and then we all went home, and that was the start of